AP Top 25 football rankings have been released. You have Oregon at the number one spot after barely beating Wisconsin, which I thought was interesting. 11 and 0 on this season. Curious to see. I would imagine that they're still the number one team in the college football playoff rankings that are dropped on Tuesday night. You have Ohio State at number two with a 9 and 1 record, followed by Texas at 9 and 1. We'll talk more about the SEC and kind of what could be going forward. You have Penn State at 9 and 1 and Indiana at 10 and 0. I think when you look to the Big Ten, I mean, we've talked about this before. I just feel so many pretenders are in the Big Ten, right? I do see Ohio State as a contender, but I mean, the pretenders are Penn State and Indiana, 100%. I mean, look at what Alabama did to Wisconsin. I know every single game is different, but I mean, for Wisconsin, a team that Alabama did what they wanted to, take Oregon down to the wire. You get what I'm saying? What's up, everybody? I appreciate you guys being here. Number 6 is Notre Dame with the 9 and 1, and I think Notre Dame's a pretender too. I'm not gonna lie, 100% think that Notre Dame is 100% a pretender. So you have, if you're just jumping in, Oregon number 1, Ohio State number 2, Texas number 3, Penn State number 4, Indiana number 5, Notre Dame number 6, and then here we go. We got Alabama in at number 7, Georgia at 8, Ole Miss at number 9, Tennessee at 10. Got Miami at 11 and Boise State at 12. I'll put the whole list inside the comment box. I think when you look at the AP Top 25, clearly we know that this does not impact the college football rankings, which drop on Tuesday night. But I'm curious to see what the committee does with ranking a team like BYU, okay? So BYU just lost, and the AP, they are 14, okay? 14 in the country after losing to Kansas, all right? All conferences are not created the same. Where are you going to put BYU? And you have to put them still as a top 4 team, right? I don't think it's fair. I don't think all the conferences are created equal, clearly. And look what's happening right now with the SEC. Right now in the SEC, you have a two-way tie for first place, right? So we're talking SEC football standings right now. And if you're curious, yeah, I'm at the airport once again. So up at the top of the SEC right now, you have Texas with the 5 and 1 record, and you have Texas A&M. Now the good news is that these two teams do play each other on the back end of the season. Now the scenario, and I'm sure you've seen it out there from the great team reporters that cover Alabama, if Alabama is able to win out games against Oklahoma and games against Auburn, and if you have Missouri win one of the next 2 games against Mississippi State or against Arkansas, that would boost Alabama's schedule of strength, which would mean that you would probably have Alabama taking on either Texas A&M or Texas, the winner of that matchup, in the SEC championship game. So if you guys are just joining us, I'll read through the AP Top 25 right now. So number 1, Oregon. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3 is Texas. Number 4 is Penn State. Number 5 is Indiana. Number 6 is Notre Dame. Number 7 is Alabama, up 2 spots. You have Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee. It's amazing to see those 4 teams. And honestly, those 4 teams behind Texas, which means that one of these SEC teams is going to be left out of the college football playoff rankings. Who do you think out of these 4 teams, Bama, obviously we think Bama should make it, who gets in the playoffs? Georgia, Ole Miss, or Tennessee? Sound off right now inside the comment box. I think Tennessee's going to be left out. Here's why. I think, what have you done for me lately? And if you lose late in the back end of the season, you're going to be punished. And look, don't lose. If you're going to lose early in the college football season, lose early, all right? Regarding Kyrie Jackson, of course, man. Heart goes out to the family, of course. Appreciate you guys being here. I think Tennessee's out, 100%. Okay, so let me ask you this. Look, I'm not afraid of competition. I love playing in the SEC championship game. I do think, though, and it looks more and more that Alabama's going to get to the SEC championship game. I'd love to see them match up with Texas. The problem is this. Alabama and the SEC, in which they should be, they are held to a different standard, right? Tougher competition, better players. We know the drill. If Texas is able to beat Alabama in the SEC title game, my fear is that an Alabama team that worked its way to transform its team under Coach Kalen DeBoer after their 2 losses will be punished by losing in the SEC title game should they lose that game. Let's all remember that Steve Sarkisian has never beat Kalen DeBoer. And let's remember that Elko has a pretty good team, and maybe they'll be playing Texas A&M. I don't know. The point is, and let me ask you this inside the comment box: do you think that Alabama would be punished as a 10-3 team? Because I guess what would happen? Right now we have Tennessee out, right? Well, if Alabama gets to the SEC championship game and they lose, they are going to put Tennessee in above Alabama. All right, whatever. I mean, this Alabama team is playing like a different team right now at this point in time. They're running the football. They're playing really good defense. At the game against Mercer, look, the two teams are so even, like mismatched. It was ridiculous to watch. It's pretty boring, to be honest. But how do you execute in a game like that, right? And what I saw, and what I continue to see from the defensive side is execution. I don't care who you're playing. You have to be, like, for example, Jahad Campbell. Jahad Campbell coming up on that third down stop. It was like third and 3. He comes up with a big stop. Like, that is execution type football. How are you playing against the scoreboard, right? I think Alabama over the last three games, I guess, Missouri, LSU, Mercer, this team is clearly on the rise. I think this is probably one of the most dangerous teams in college football now that they're starting to find its groove. And honestly, I don't think that this team has still played its best football yet. I think they're getting closer every single week. I think we saw a little bit of that against LSU. All right, no, here's my question for you guys. Who's going to provide Alabama the tougher game but this coming up? Oklahoma or Auburn? If you think it's Auburn, type A. If you think it's Oklahoma, type O. There's going to be challenges each of the game. Clearly going to Norman, Oklahoma is going to present challenges. Turning around and playing Auburn is going to be tough. Hugh Freeze is going to thank you. Look, it's all Auburn. So Hugh Freeze, to salvage this dude's season, right? He's going to try every single thing possible to beat Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama Crimson Tide. We got 307 up in here. I appreciate you guys being here. Coming to you from the airport. I'm getting back to Tuscaloosa later tonight. Let me ask you this, okay? As you look to the future of the Alabama quarterback position, and I ask you this because we did get an opportunity to see all of Alabama's quarterbacks, and I talked about this, the last couple, yesterday. How do you foresee the Alabama quarterback position after Jalen Milroe moves on? I think from one standpoint, I liked what I saw from those quarterbacks yesterday. I do. Ty Simpson, I like the fact that they let him work the offense. Austin Mack comes in, throws a dime, scores a touchdown. Dylan Lonergan does his thing. All these quarterbacks can't stay here. I would imagine one transfers out. You see what Hayes Fawcett has been posting recently on Twitter. All these quarterbacks flipping around back and forth. The good news is Alabama has quality quarterbacks coming. Just hang on to Keelan Russell. If you're here for the AP Top 25, it looks like this. At the number 1 spot, Oregon. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3 is Tennessee. Number 4 is Penn State. Number 5 is Indiana. Oh, my God. Is there anyone here inside the comment box that thinks Indiana can beat Ohio State? Seriously, is there anyone here that thinks? Oh, let me ask you this. Let's just pull the undefeated comment box. Who wins, Indiana or Ohio State? Type I for Indiana. Type O for Ohio State. J-Bag's taking the Hoosiers. KTK, I'm with you, man. Okay, we got Ohio State. Everyone's wrong with Ohio State, 100%. Okay. My next question for you, okay? Is Notre Dame, honestly, take off your Alabama fan hat. Is Notre Dame a pretender or a contender? Type P for pretender, type C for contender. Notre Dame, pretender or contender? I better see all, yes, 100% pretender. They have found a loophole to play these service teams and continue to win games, all right? My next question for you. Who is the better football team? Georgia, Ole Miss, or Tennessee? Georgia, Ole Miss, or Tennessee? Type G for Georgia, O for Ole Miss, or T for Tennessee. I was so confident that Georgia would beat Tennessee. I don't think that Nico is at that point in time to where he can lead Tennessee later on at this type of season. I don't. Look, Lane Kiffin beat Kirby. I get it. I just don't see Lane winning big games down the road, down the stretch. Here's my last thing. Are we getting a bunch of Ole Miss, actually? All right. Here's my last thing. What to watch for in the Big 12. Okay? What to watch for in the Big 12. And stay with me why I say this. So right now, BYU is the number one team in the Big 12. But on the rise is Colorado. Who you take? I know BYU just lost. Who you taking, BYU or Colorado? Type B for BYU, type C for Colorado. I think the way that things could shake out is right now Colorado seems to be playing better football than BYU. Whatever. Give me Colorado in the Big 12, which would be crazy to think about. Coach Prime getting his team, the Colorado Buffs, to the playoffs and hosting in the quarterfinals. Now, I don't know where Alabama will end up in the college football playoffs. I think I would imagine somewhere between 6, 7, and 8, which means they are hosting in the first round. With that said, that could change if they get to the SEC championship game and they do beat at Texas. So, look, Alabama, you know what? If Alabama, hang on to this. If Alabama is to win the SEC championship game, who's to say they can't be number one? Maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but they could be number 2 for sure. They would be number 2. They would take Texas' spot. So a lot of football left to play. A lot of guys on Flip Watch. Another guy on Flip Watch right now. There's a great Twitter account to follow. It's called Recruits Alabama. This guy's on top of everything. So you have like Hayes Fawcett. You have the guys from 24/7 from On3. Recruits Bama on Twitter. X, he does some great job. He's saying that Turbo Rogers looks like he could be a flip to Ohio State. So Turbo Rogers, which honestly, we expected that to happen for quite some time. And you have A.K. Deer, and I think A.K. Deer is going to be a fine running back here at for Alabama. But Turbo Rogers looks like he could be the next guy to flip from Alabama. What does it mean? You lose an in-state guy. You do have A.K. Deer. And look, the way that, I mean, maybe you guys aren't going to like what I'm about to say. The running backs don't get fed here. The offense can work without feeding your running backs. I mean, I'll try to bring it up right here. Alabama. I mean, you look at. I'm bringing up the running back stats right now. Against Mercer, okay, in a game where you should have fed the running backs, I thought. Justice Haynes had 6. Richard Young had 7, and Jam Miller had 8. The running backs don't get used. I don't think the running backs get fed in this offense. But the offense works without that. So that's another video for another point in time. So I guess we'll have to see what happens the rest of the way. And you know what? Alabama is still running the football. I mean, they ran the football yesterday 42 times for 189 yards. All right. I appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube, coming to you from Dallas Love Field, en route back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'll be getting there tonight. I might pop on later tonight, but probably need to get some rest and get ready for my big Monday show. Alabama takes on Oklahoma this next Saturday. Coverage, of course, and I'll have my Monday show tomorrow with Coach Caitlin DeBoer and the assistant coaches. Please remember to support all the players, all the coaches, all that stuff. Remember to support all the sites out there. There's some amazing content creators and some amazing websites covering Alabama football. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Hit the thumbs up on this video, and I'll catch up with you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. See you guys.